Hi. Okay. Wow. What a difference 24 hours makes. Just 24 hours after I posted my first video on my opinion on the Dak Prescott deal, which is nothing but a hot garbage take because I'm not an agent, I'm not an NFL coach, I'm not an NFL GM, I'm not even an accountant. So who am I to tell you about this? But I am a talking head on YouTube with a platform that 5 people are going to watch, so I feel qualified to follow up and tell you more about it. But before we get into that, I want to tell you today who the video is sponsored by. And today's video sponsor is Jordan Lee. Jordan Lee came in and said he wanted to sponsor today's video with a resounding message of Bert sucks with an X. Thanks, Jordan. If you want to be tomorrow's video sponsor, please go ahead, leave a comment down below. I can be bribed at a very, very low non-monetary cost, so you can be the next video sponsor. Okay, so this is why we've got to leave complex NFL cap negotiations and breakdowns and analysis to, well, accountants. Those wonderful, wonderful, intelligent people. It was probably an accountant that wrote the NFL catch rule because they are just as complex. I still don't know what a football move is, neither does Calvin Johnson, neither does anyone catching a football in the end zone, but I digress on that. Today's cap situation for the Dallas Cowboys looks a lot better than it did yesterday, and there are 3 big reasons for it. The first, Michael Gehlken over on the Dallas Morning News reported that the Dallas Cowboys cap has now increased to $208 million because of $25 million of cap space carried over from 2020. They for sure could have used that cap space on maybe like a single defensive player last year, but you know what? That's fine. They burnt the season and didn't even really get a good draft pick, so good job. The other big thing that has ended up changing my opinion on this cap is how the deal with Dak is structured. It leaves a lot of cap space this year and next. So if he would have signed the franchise tag, it would have been about $37.7 million in cap space taken up. However, because of the way the 4-year deal is structured, he's actually only going to end up taking a $22.2 million cap hit next year in 2021. It's about a $30 million cap hit, 33 actually in year 2. It's $40 million in year 3 and 47 in year 4. And this is a very good deal for Dallas. This is a very good deal for Dak. When the next final 2 years of the deal start getting expensive, Dak can decide with Dallas whether or not he wants to restructure and help build other players around him if they think they're in line for a win, or if he wants to be a bit of a greedy bugger, he can just keep the money. But he is in line to do the Tom Brady-esque deal if he wants and renegotiate that big cap hit at the end. This is very similar to what Brady used to do, take all of his money at the back end, restructure as the back end picks up. So we'll see what ends up happening there, but the big news is that ends up saving Dallas $15 million on the cap this year. So if we're counting, we're up to $40 million. The final piece of news is that ESPN's Todd Archer, Archer, Lana! No, not that Archer with the tactile neck, but Todd Archer from ESPN has let us know that Tyron Smith, Laquel Collins, and Zach Martin have ended up restructuring their deals, freeing up another $17 million in cap space, bringing that total to about $57 million. This is a big deal. $57 million for Dallas's cap space heading into 2021, plus 4 compensatory picks that were just awarded to them, will allow them to hopefully hit some darts in the draft, because round 3 to the end, it's a dart. It's like 10%, 12% that you're actually going to get a successful NFL player in those picks. But more picks the better, more darts the better. That'll help improve the defense. We also need a little bit of help on the O-line, so maybe these restructured deals will allow them to take some linemen late in the draft and they can develop. We can get a little bit more depth there if those guys end up getting hurt, because they do have a couple years left on their deal, and we saw last year what happens when they get injured. It ends up being, well, hot garbage and a pure mess. And then Zeke can't run, Tony Pollard can, but that's a totally different story. And Dallas ends up being in a little bit of trouble. But because the NFC East is just sheer trash, with the exception of the Washington defense, which is just world class and led by Chase Young, no other team or side of the football in the NFC East is good. The Dallas Cowboys offense can be amazing. We need to see them put up 30 to 45 points in order to win. I feel they should be putting up those types of points, especially with the amount of money and talent that they've invested in their skilled players, as well as the line that they've invested in. I know it's not, they're old, but they've invested the money in it. So I do expect that money to reap a bit of reward. So Dallas's offense, Washington's defense, and everybody else is kind of sitting in no man's land. I think the Giants could sneak in and make some noise, but again, they're terrible at drafting. They couldn't even pick the consensus number one lineman in last year's draft at number 4. They had to go off the board. That didn't work out well for them. Daniel Jones is looking like, whatever. I don't really think they have a receiver sitting around that's worth noting. Shepard, whatever. I mean, he's fine. Slayton, he's a 5th-round pick. He is what he is. If you look at Philadelphia, they're going into the Jalen Hurts experiment. He's shown he doesn't have a lot of accuracy. He's got a lot of mobility in the pocket. He is an X factor. He can do some things. But again, Philly hasn't been great at drafting in the last couple of years. So we'll see if they can pull a rabbit out of their hat in this draft and maybe improve a little bit. But I'm not really hopeful. So I really do think Dallas, with this amount of money, with who they can sign, and the fact that they are the Cowboys, people do want to play for them, like them or love them. They're America's team. A couple big free agent signings come in. They may be able to turn that defense into serviceable, which could be good enough to let that outstanding offense carry them to a few victories and win the NFC East. Do I think they can win a Super Bowl? No, I really don't, even as a fan. But they have a chance to win that garbage NFC East. I don't think Washington is going to get a quarterback in that's going to be of any note. We're looking for a serviceable D on the Dallas side. They're looking for a serviceable quarterback and to win through defense. Which one will work? I'm not too sure. And you know what? To be perfectly honest, whatever opinion I give you, just like Eli Manning ruined my life for 10 years, the New York Giants will show up with crap. Daniel Jones will be amazing. The New York Giants will walk over everybody and somehow win a Super Bowl going 9-7 again. So thanks for watching again today.